Morning, everybody. I hope you're having a really great start to your day. Sorry about the technical difficulties. So today is Friday. It is probably the last live class I will teach. I might teach one or two throughout the rest of the year, but this is probably my last live class for the year. So I just want to tell you, first of all, thank you so much for supporting my practice, supporting your practice, and supporting this YouTube channel. I will be starting back up at the beginning of the year, but I'm just going to take a little bit of time off because I'm going to do some traveling. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start seated on our mats when you're ready. You don't need any props today. Just bring your awareness and your breath, and we'll start seated. It's a good point, Bruno. So find that comfortable spot on your mat. And you can do anything that feels comfortable with the sit bones. You can cross the legs. You can have the legs out in front of you. You can bring the soles of the feet together. So just find that comfortable spot that's for you. And then I always like to rock the sit bones back and forth from side to side. So then that way we really root the sit bones down into the floor. I want you to lift up through the sternum, close the eyes, and we'll just start to take a few breaths in and out of the body. So you don't need to do anything fancy. Just start to breathe deeply into the nose. And you can breathe out of the nose or you can breathe out of the mouth, but just tune into the breath, where the breath goes. As you start to arrive in this space this morning, you to start to quiet the thoughts in the mind and start to just be here without the need to move, without the urgency to get to the next thing. Sometimes that's just part of the challenge of our practice, is actually being with our practice. So let's bring the hands together in front of the heart. We'll take our 3 cleansing breaths to begin practice. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. We'll do that 2 more times. Bigger inhale. Open mouth, exhale. And a final time, bigger inhale here. Lift through the heart, grow tall through the spine. And then open the mouth, sigh it out. And let's seal the lips. Find your conscious breath, breathing deeply through the nose. As you start to connect with your breath, you can start to notice that subtle shift from our awareness looking out to our day, looking forward to our weekend. Maybe shifting that inward to noticing how you are feeling right now. Noticing any sensations in the body. And just using those feelings and sensations to be as present as possible. Take one more full round of breath. And then before you open the eyes, try and find that smile on your face. Keep the lips sealed. And then open the eyes to a soft gaze. Let's cross over the ankles and we'll come into a table pose. Ground the palms nice and wide. Knees right underneath the hips. So you can wag the hips from side to side. Just take 1 or 2 breaths here, feeling the palms rooting down into the floor, spreading the hands, feeling the tops of the knees, the shins, and the tops of the feet pressing firmly into the floor. And protect the low back by pulling the belly button into the spine. So the practice today is thinking about where we start to kind of loaf in our day, in our practice, in our life. So I want you to think about the challenges that we go through, and sometimes they might be hard, but how do you come out on the other side? So as you're thinking about that, I want you to tuck the toes, lift the knees just slightly to hover off the ground. Almost like you could put a little piece of paper, slide it underneath the knees. As you press the floor down, press the sit bones back just a little bit more, core is engaged. I want you to think about all the challenges that we have been going through in this last year and know that that change that we're all going to come to on the other side is going to be super grand. But we do have to be mindful and responsible of our own actions. Let's take another breath here and then lift the sit bones as you exhale. Walk your feet out, press the palms down and forward. And so being responsible for our actions, not only how we treat others, how we treat ourselves. And that translates outside of us to those around us. So just think about the influences that you have, not only on your own thoughts, but with your actions around other people. And then just take another couple of breaths. I think the easiest example of this is being kind to people. You know, if you go into a grocery store, they see so many people a day, and just that smile or you asking them how they are really makes them feel a lot better. And just that one little instance, even if it's just for a moment, you can see that kindness and you can be the change that you want to see in people. So take another breath here and just soften into the pose. Look at the toes, start to walk the feet back to the hands, and you'll widen the feet. Grab onto opposite elbows, rock the weight into the toes. Let the torso hang nice and heavy. You can rock a little bit more weight forward. Maybe feel the heart come closer towards the front of the thighs. Feel the sit bones lift straight up towards the ceiling. Take another full breath. We'll inhale, come up halfway. Tuck the chin, have the back of the neck long, and then exhale to fold forward. Bend the knees, inhale to rise all the way up. Palms are going to touch overhead. Exhale to pull the hands down to the heart. Close the eyes. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Blink the eyes open. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lift the heart up. Exhale, you're going to hinge at the hips. Lead with the heart. Dive all the way down over the thighs. Inhale to find a flat back. Reach the heart forward. Exhale to forward fold. You're going to bring the feet back, hip width distance apart. Walk back into downward facing dog. Find your foundation. Lift the sit bones nice and high. And then on the next inhale, right leg is going to lift. Keep the hips square. Right toes point down. Press into the palms evenly and bring the heart closer to the front of the thighs. Take another breath. Look forward. Plant the foot between the palms and you're going to walk it forward. You can come up onto the fingertips. Left knee lowers. Keep the left toes tucked under and then inhale to rise all the way up. Soft shoulders, ground into the ball of that right foot. Pull the right hip back. Take another full cycle of breath here. Take one more breath in. See if you can grow a little bit taller through the torso. And then let's exhale to bring the hands down to the floor. Inch that right foot forward just a little bit, and then you're going to come onto the right heel, straighten the right leg. Walk the hands back, and then again, feel this, not again, but in this moment, I want you to feel the inseam of that right thigh rotating down, and the right toes are going to point up. So a couple of options here. You might just want to hinge forward. Think about the heart reaching towards the toes. You can bring the hands to the inside of that right thigh, and that might feel good. You can bring them to the outside of the right leg, but make sure that the toes still point up. And don't let the hips start to sway out. Keep everything hooked into the center. So just do what feels good. I'm going to stay to the outside of my right leg just to get a little stretch on my left hip, on the back of my left hip. So we'll take another full breath here. See if you can find some softness somewhere in the body. And then let's inhale, come back to center, walk forward, plant the right foot once again, bring the fingertips in front of the toes. I want you to keep the left toes tucked, just lift the right heel. So you're kind of lifting it into your right armpit. Choose to stay here or now hover the left knee off the floor. So you're kind of in this weird little modified runner's lunge. Let's take another breath here. Keep the front of the left thigh engaged. Feel the strength in the right calf. Take another full cycle of breath here. And then plant the palms, step back, find downward facing dog. And you'll take a full cycle of breath in and a full breath out. Take one more cycle here so you can settle into downward dog. Feel the sit bones lift high. And then the next inhale, left leg is going to lift, look forward. Plant the foot between the palms, inch it forward. And then you can come up onto the fingertips to make space, to lower the right knee down and keep the right toes tucked. Reach the heart forward, soften the shoulders. Next inhale, you'll rise up, come into your low lunge. Lift the heart into the palms. Notice if we're hinging forward a little bit. See if you can bring the shoulders right over the hips. Back of the neck is long, so you can slightly tuck the chin. And then lift up nice and high through the fingertips. Take another full breath. Hands are going to come all the way down to the floor. Inch the left foot forward just a little bit. You're going to come onto the left heel, straighten through the leg. Left toes are going to point up towards the ceiling. I want you to reach the heart forward. And then again, your choice here. Before you hinge forward, inseam of the left thigh rotates down, toes point up. And then you can bring the hands to the inside of that left thigh, left calf. You can hinge forward, reaching the heart towards the toes, or you can walk to the outside of the left calf. The one thing to notice is you start to sway those hips out to one side, so you really want to be mindful here. If you need to, you can come up onto the fingertips, but then once you find that sweet spot, see if you can settle into the pose. Let go of any gripping or tightness that you are clinging onto in the body. And then breathe. The breath is going to create that space so the muscles can open up, any tension through the ligaments. And it also starts to soften any of those thoughts that become repetitive, that we can't shake. So really focus on this breath, this deep, cultivated, conscious breath through the nose. Take one more cycle. Nice. So let's walk back forward. Plant the left foot. You're going to keep those right toes tucked under. Bring the fingertips maybe a little bit in front of the left toes. and then lift the left heel. So you're lifting the left knee kind of into the armpit. Take another breath here. It kind of feels a little bit weird on the front of the calf, but think about, or on the front of the ankle, think about the front of the foot here and the shin. We don't do very much work there. So keep pressing into the ball of that foot. Now let's lift the right knee to hover. So use the core here. Keep pressing into the balls of the feet. The other thing too to think about is over time, if we neglect our feet, the muscles and the bones, we start to break down. So we really want to protect our feet as they carry us through our entire life. I know this is a little bit challenging, but breathe through that challenge. Take another breath here. And then you're going to step back into downward facing dog. Soften the heels. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Take one more breath. And I want you to look back at your toes, walk the hands back towards your feet. You're going to come into a forward fold at the back of the mat. Grab onto both elbows if you want. You can rest the hands on the floor. Weight into the toes though. And then pull the belly button super close to the spine as far as you can. See if you can get a little bit more hinge forward. Take another full breath here. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins. Reach the heart forward. Exhale to forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale to rise all the way up. Palms are going to touch overhead. Exhale to pull the hands to your heart. Close the eyes. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Eyes blink open. Inhale, sweep the arms up. This time as you exhale, bend the knees, drop the sit bones, chair pose. Reach the sit bones back nice and feel the heels drop down and feel the sit bones reach back really far. And then you're going to still ground the feet into the floor, soft shoulders. Belly button pulls in towards the spine. Take another breath here, sit a little bit lower. And then use the exhale to hinge forward. Inhale, flat back, reach the heart forward. Exhale to forward fold. Bend the knees, plant the palms, walk back into downward facing dog. Lift the sit bones, deep full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, the right leg lifts up, look forward, plant the foot between the palms, stay on the back toe crease, come up onto the fingertips. You're going to reach the heart forward. Take a deep breath here. I want you to lift again the right heel, right knee comes into the armpit. Take a deep breath, feel the calf muscle engaging. And then lower the right heel, soften the left heel to the floor. Inhale to rise up with the left arm, warrior two. The heels should intersect, or the front heel should intersect with that back arch or the back foot somewhere. Sink down into the front knee, open the chest nice and wide, and then the gaze is going to go over that front middle finger. Before you do that though, look back, make sure that that back foot is sealed to the floor. So you want to feel the inseam of the left leg rotating backwards, and then soft shoulders here. Find your gaze now back over that front middle finger. And take a full breath here. Keep lifting the heart up towards the chin. Take one more cycle. And then now keep the legs exactly where they are. We've been lifting through the heel, so you're going to lift the right heel up. Keep the body exactly where it is. The only thing that's moving is that right heel lifting. Take another breath here. Keep the heel lifted. And then exhale to lower it, windmill the hands down to the inside of that right leg. So pause here, find lizard pose, press the palms down, keep the left heel reaching back, but you can also lower the left knee if that feels good. But I want you to find that length in the front of the left hip. Reach the heart forward, take a full cycle here. You're going to start to walk to the wide edge of the mat. Have the toes point out and the heels point in, and you're going to come into a forward fold. But I want you to keep rotating the inner thighs inward towards one another and feel the weight coming into the inner arches of the feet. Lift the sit bones nice and high. You can bring the hands onto the floor underneath the shoulders. You can come onto the forearms. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then you're going to rise all the way up, bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips, rise up, find goddess pose. You can inch the heels in a little bit closer if you would like. You'll drop the sit bones, feel the knees point towards the pinky side toe, towards the back of the mat, and then drop low, lift the heart. Maybe find that smile on your face. You can keep the hands here if you want to add a little bit more and bring the arms out to that cactus pose. Pull the shoulder blades together behind the back. Make sure you're smiling. Maybe sway from side to side if that feels good. Feels good for me for the inner hips and for the knees. So take another breath. And then let's lift the right heel up. Nice. Lower the right heel. Lift the left heel now. Nice. Lower the left heel. Let's try and lift both heels. Whew. One more breath in. And then exhale. Let's release. Whew. Hands come to the hips. Straighten the legs. Let's shake the hips from side to side. So pivot to the ball of that left foot. You're going to spring forward to the front of the mat now. First time we're at the front. Hands come to mountain pose. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Exhale, you're going to bend the knees, drop the sit bones, come back into chair pose. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Stay in chair, lift both heels up. Drop the sit bones a little bit lower. We're going to take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to forward fold. Try and keep the heels lifted until you fold all the way down and then lower the heels. Inhale, find your flat back, reach the heart forward. Exhale to forward fold. Let's bend the knees, plant the palms. We're stepping the right foot back. Stay on the fingertips here. Reach the heart forward. Take a full breath here. Feel space in the front of the right hip now as the right heel starts to stretch back. We're lifting the left heel now so that the left knee comes into the left armpit. Notice the difference of the feet. Mine, this one definitely is a little bit different than my right foot. So you just want to be aware of that. Reach the heart forward. Take a deep breath in. And then when you exhale, both heels are going to come down. Left heel comes down, spiral the right heel. Next inhale, let's windmill up. Find warrior two. Extend the fingertips away from one another. Sink down into the front knee. If you need to, you can inch that knee forward. And then make sure that the right foot is sealed to the floor. The inner right thigh is rotating backwards. Soften the shoulders. And then the gaze is over that front middle finger. Take a full cycle of breath here. I want you to keep the body exactly how it is. Maybe sink a little bit deeper into the front knee. Keep rotating the back thigh towards the back of your mat heel. Only lifting the left heel, nothing else in the body moves. Take another breath in and another breath out. One more breath in. And then let's lower the heel, windmill the hands down to the inside of that left foot. Come to the palms. You can lower the right knee if you want to, but I want you to reach the heel back first. Find some space in the front of that right thigh. Reach the heart forward. Take a full breath. And then you're going to go ahead and start to pivot to the wide side of the mat. So you're going to pivot backwards. I'm going to stay forward for obvious reasons, so I'm not shining my booty to you. And then I want you to reach the heels. Actually, this time, let's go ahead and parallel the feet to the edges of the mat and come into our forward fold. Rotate the inner thighs towards one another and just feel a little bit of a different stretch in the inner thighs. We'll take a full breath here. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and we'll rise up. Heels are going to come in now. Bend the knees. Find your goddess pose. So drop the sit bones. You can start with the hands onto the thighs if that feels okay. And then if you want, go ahead and bring them into the cactus pose. Sit bones drop low. Feel the knees pointing out. And this is a really challenging pose. But remember, we can't change if we don't challenge ourselves. So drop the sit bones. Knees point out towards the pinky toe. And then this time, let's start with the left heel. Lift the left heel up and then lower the left heel. Right heel lifts. Lower the left or lower the right heel. Now both heels lift. Last time here in goddess pose. So take a deep breath in. And then exhale, lower the heels, hands come to the hips. Inhale to straighten the legs. Whew, nice and good, huh? Feel those hips move from side to side so you can wake up the hip points. And then we're going to pivot back to the front of the mat. So you're probably facing backwards. Start to rotate back into that left foot. We're going to step back, downward facing dog. So ground the palms. Look back towards those toes. Walk the hands backwards to the back of the mat. Inhale, find your flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to rise all the way up. But this time, bend the knees, drop the sit bones, last chair pose. So as you drop the sit bones, lift the heart up. Lift through the throat. Back of the neck is long, and then come onto the heels. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Keep lowering all the way down. And you're going to come into a toe balance here, balancing on the balls of the feet. Find your drishti in front of you. Hands can come to the heart. You can even bring them down to the floor, to the fingertips. Now, as you find that balance, you might shake. Bring the hands to the heart. Lift through the sternum. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Come forward. Bring the knees down to the floor. Keep the toes tucked. And then we'll sit back into hero's pose. If this doesn't work for you, then sit onto the sit bones. Hands are going to come to the heart. And we'll just take 2 breaths. Hinge forward. Come all the way down to seated. Now find your comfortable seated position. Hands come together in front of the heart. I want you to close the eyes. Take a deep, full breath here. And then let's take our 3 cleansing breaths to end our practice. Take a deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale to sigh it out. And again, big inhale. Open mouth exhale. And a final time, bigger inhale. And a fuller exhale. And then when you're ready, before you open the eyes, smile. Think about one thing that makes your heart smile. That one feeling of gratitude. Bring that into the body before you enter into your day and into your weekend. And then when you are ready, let's blink the eyes open, smile, bring the hands to the forehead. Namaste. So I hope that you had a great practice. I'm sure the calves and the thighs are going to be burning a little bit, so just keep that in mind. And it's that challenge that is creating the change, those muscles that are waking up. And so when you feel them tomorrow, be thankful that we had that challenge today. And hopefully you take that challenge off the mat. Just remember that you want to be the change that you want to be the change that you want to see in the world. So how can you bring that into your life? Take responsibility for your actions, lead with kindness, and lead with your heart. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your support. And I hope you continue on with your practice. Keep following me on Instagram and on Facebook and for my website so you can see if I decide to do any other classes on the fly. But I really wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Have a great day.